Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about what made me want to start doing digital marketing. So I had spent the last 20 years in an office, in a cubicle, not being able to see out, just very isolated, I guess you could say, in a cubicle, which is why I named my business Ditch the Cubicle, because I wanted to ditch my cubicle. So I never felt like I fit in the corporate environment. There was just always something. I always wanted something more. It didn't allow me to make my creative juices get flowing in my brain, where I could actually create something and feel like I was contributing to the earth in some way, to the world in some way. It just was very mundane, and I did well actually at that sort of thing, just the way that my brain works. I'm really good at that sort of thing, but I just was unhappy, like all the time, miserable every day going to work, sitting in the cubicle, not being able to see out, no window, didn't even know if it was a pretty day till I got on my lunch break, and then I'd go outside, and it just felt so good to be outside. And then I had to go back in and do the same thing day in and day out. And about probably 5 years after I started working in an office, it just hit me one day. I was like, what in the world? Like, when is this going to end? Like, is it ever going to end? And it actually just hit me. No, it's not. It's not ever going to end. Like, I wasn't getting in anywhere. I wasn't moving up the ladder. Everybody kept telling me, you're too young. You're too young to move up the ladder. But then when you get older, well, now you're too old to move up the ladder. So I'm not sure when you're supposed to move up the ladder, but that's what I was told. I was 24 years old. I had sharp mind, ready to climb that ladder, and it got me nowhere, because the excuse then was, well, you're too young. Give it some more time. So I worked, and I did my grind, and I tried to climb that ladder, and I took on more projects, and I did more things, and I was trying to prove myself, and all it got me was more work, the same pay, no raise, no appreciation. I did that for years and years and years and years. And it was way back then that I realized I just felt trapped, and I felt like it was going nowhere, and it didn't. I eventually did work my way up the ladder, like 15 years later, after giving every moment of myself, all of my waking hours, to this company and these companies, because I switched jobs because I couldn't take it anymore. I needed a break. And so that was really the only way I could move up, was to switch jobs. So I was finally able to work into a stay-at-home job, work from home, able to be getting paid well. Still wasn't at six figures in my corporate job, but I was doing well. I had made manager, had done all the stuff. Manager, oh my gosh, that was just more stress. And the pay was not even enough. It didn't even matter how much more money that I made, because it was so much more stress that I just couldn't. I couldn't continue doing it. I actually broke out with hives and couldn't deal with it anymore because of the stress. I had a horrible boss that it was just not nice. Just not nice. And the pressure was insane. Just the expectations of what was expected was just crazy. So making it and climbing that ladder, finally making it to management, wasn't even the answer with an office job for me, because all it did was just give me more stress, more money, but more stress that wasn't worth the amount of money that I was making. Because I don't think there's any amount of money that's worth your sacrificing your health and sacrificing your mental health and your physical health for. When you're in corporate, you have to sit down in your chair at your desk, which we all know is horrible for our health. Being sedentary, I used to have pain in my hips, pain in my knees, neuropathy in my hips because of sitting so much. And not to mention that I was out of breath anytime I tried to do anything, because I wasn't used to getting up out of the chair. And it makes it more difficult, because the more you sit, the more you want to sit. The more you move, the more you want to move. Well, I asked my boss one time if I could get a treadmill to go under my desk and get a standing desk. And of course, no, we can't do that. I don't know if it was, I have no idea. I don't know why that he would tell me no on that, but that was a no. So the only other option I had was to sit, and there was no other option. They get to choose. You have vacation time. They can tell you when to take vacation time. They can tell you no if they don't want you to take vacation time. You're 100% at their mercy. And most of the time, the PTO that they give you is not enough in order to actually reset from the whole year you just worked. Whether it's 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, it doesn't matter. Like, you're working an entire year, and that's the only time that you have off. During that year, it's not enough time to reset. And what I found was every time I would come back to work, like a day and a half in, I was already feeling that stress level just still up here, and I could not get it to go down, like, no matter what, because over the years, like, it's like the stress just builds and builds and builds, and you're not able to ever get that to go back down to a normal level because they don't give you enough time off. And the weekly cycle is exactly the same. Like, you have to neglect all of your duties all week long. You don't mow the grass, you don't plan for groceries, you don't go buy groceries, you don't clean, you don't do the laundry, you don't do anything because you're so tired when you get home from work. Like, I know other people can relate to what I'm talking about. Like, you're taking care of your kids, you're taking them to their ball games, like, you're trying to work full time, you're trying to do all this stuff, and there is not enough time when your job takes your entire waking hours of your day. And I never even realized that that is what was going on until like 15 years after I was working. I was just like, I don't have enough time left at the end of the day. I don't have enough time left to get any of my stuff done because my job is taking my entire waking hours, and everything closes at 5 o'clock. Then you get a weekend that's 2 days. You have to fit in all of the time to rest and relax and get everything done that you couldn't get done during the week. It's just insanity that we think this is normal. So, I want to move on to why I got into digital marketing, why I picked this solution to my problems. Why did I pick this program in particular? So I was compartmentalized when I worked at my job. Like, I did what I did, and that's what I knew. And every other person that worked in other departments, that's what they knew as well. Like, they work in payroll, they know payroll. You work in HR, you know HR. I worked in this compliance department. I knew the compliance portion. So I didn't know about marketing. I didn't know about email automation. I didn't know about how to set all that stuff up. So Legacy Builders is a program, and this is just my experience with it. When I got into this program, it taught me step by step how to build a website. I had never done that before. It taught me how to automate my website. It walked me through, like, step by step how to do that with how-to videos each step of the way, which is what I needed because I didn't know how to do any of that stuff. I was completely lost, and I was a beginner, 100%. I needed help, and the program provided that help. There's also a community of 58,000 members that is growing daily that you can always reach out in the community and ask questions or anything that you need to know. You can get help. They offer Earn While You Learn. They offer you a pre-made product so that you don't have to come up with your own product idea on top of learning all this stuff that you don't know how to do. They teach you how to work a 2-hour workday, and the course teaches you skills that no one can ever take away from you. You can take them with you and use no matter what you want to do in the future online. So if you're like me and you don't know where to start and you would like to do something different, you want to change your life, just leave ready in the comments below, and I'd be glad to get back to you and give you some more information on the program.